I'm going to talk to you about identity leadership. But before I do, there's a couple of things, since you're all business people, a couple of things that I think that when we talk about the 10X Growth Conference, most important word there, I would say, is growth. Can you grow? And there's a couple of principles based on growth. One is you cannot change your circumstances until you first change yourself. You cannot change your circumstances until you first change yourself. Second one is, and this is very, very important, in business and your social economic development and the growth of your business, is that you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. And most people will never know who they are. It's really not even set up for you to know who you are. To know who you are really is a blessing. It's really a gift to know who you are. To know who you are, you get a chance to kind of understand how to organize information, make it relevant to your heart, to your soul, transfer it to your mind so you become a thinking human being, and then transfer that to the American free enterprise system or the global market to create and design your own future. Wow, can you do that? There's about 8 billion people in the world. I would say that 7.9999 billion people will never know who they are. They will be followers for the rest of their life. And so when you talk about identity leadership, it's self-leadership. It's based on the philosophy that you can't lead anybody else until you first lead yourself. Interesting question. How do you lead yourself? Well, most people will never get a chance to lead themselves because on Monday they wake up in the morning, they wash their face, they brush their teeth, they get something to eat, they get the kids off to school, work all day, come home in the afternoon, they spend time with the family, they watch TV, they go to bed, maybe they dream that's Monday. On Tuesday, most people will never know who they are because on Tuesday they wake up in the morning, they wash their face, they brush their teeth, they get something to eat, they get the kids off to school, work all day, come home in the afternoon, they spend time with the family, they watch TV, they go to bed, maybe they dream that's Tuesday. And then comes Wednesday, and almost 8 billion people on Wednesday get up in the morning, they wash their face, they brush their teeth, they get something to eat, they get the kids off to school, work all day, come home in the afternoon, they spend time with the family, they watch TV, they go to bed, maybe they dream that's Wednesday, and here comes Thursday. And what do they do on Thursday? They get up in the morning, they wash their face, they brush their teeth, they get something to eat, they get the kids off school, work all day, come home in the afternoon, they spend time with the family, they watch TV, they go to bed, maybe they dream that's Thursday. And here comes Friday, and Friday they go to happy hour, and Saturday they wash, they clean up, they get the kids off their activities, they go out Saturday night. Sunday, a lot of people go to church, they eat chicken dinners in the afternoon. And they get ready for what on Monday? Work. And they work, 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 and they look back after 40 years and they say, you know what, I've been working for 40 years, I have no more in the end than I had in the beginning. So you're smart. If you did the same thing you did yesterday as you would do today, as you would do tomorrow, what have you done? The answer would be nothing. And you go to school, and school does what? It teaches you how to memorize, take tests, repeat the information back, you get labeled with a grade. 2 weeks later, if I asked you what you learned, what would you say? Nothing. So nothing from nothing is nothing. So you have 7.999 billion people who don't know who they are, where they're going, or how they're going to get there. And the world says to them, you know what? I got you. I got you. You're going to be a follower for the rest of your life. And I have to tell you everything to do. And the world puts you in a box or they will create these boxes. And the world will define you by your race. And I grew up in an all-black town surrounded by a white county where they said nothing ever good comes out of Whitesboro. We had a lot of good that came out of Whitesboro, but we were being defined by the town we lived in. And I grew up with a race-based consciousness. And the world defines you by your race and defines people of color and tells them that you can't make it because of the color of your skin. And so folks are marginalized all around the world. And it took me about 30 years of age before I realized I was traveling around the world with this guy named Bob Brown. I'm seeing people of color all around the world making things happen. I realized, no, wow, you bought into this race thing. The problem is you don't know who you are. And when you don't know who you are, the world defines you by your gender that tells women you can't make it because it's a man's world. No, that's not it. You can't make it because you don't know who you are. Sometimes the world defines you by your family. And I grew up with 2 special need brothers in my family. Tough thing to deal with. A lot of trauma, a lot of pain. Growing up with 2 special need brothers in your family, and nobody tells you how to deal with that. And I grew up with low self-esteem and a lack of confidence in myself. And I had a lot of anger and a lot of rage. And you know what happens when you have anger and you have rage? You want to destroy yourself. And I'm in this small town, and 2 special need brothers I have to take care of most of the time. A lot of anger, a lot of rage. And the only thing that really kept me from, you don't know this, but I worked in the prison system 5 years later on in life. I didn't say I was in the prison system 5 years. I said I worked in the prison system, but there's no question I would have been in prison, that system, with all the anger and rage I had. And the only thing that kind of saved me from destroying myself was a thing called basketball. And basketball gave me enough self-esteem not to destroy myself. And I'm in this small town, and it's a small town because we only have 1 store in our town. That's a small town. And I never will forget this story. The guy that owned the store, his name was Mr. T.A. And we used to always hang out at Mr. T.A.'s. We're going to hang out at Mr. T.A.'s. So I'm down there one Saturday morning, and I'm a bragger. I've been bragging to everybody that I'm going to college because I know I'm going to go to college. I'm getting all these scholarship offers from all around the country. And I've been bragging to everybody. So I'm down there one Saturday morning. Mr. T.A.'s behind the counter. And I walk up to Mr. T.A., and I'm getting ready to brag to Mr. T.A. that I'm going to college. And I look at him, and I say, Mr. T.A., guess what? I'm going to college. And I'm thinking Mr. T.A. is going to say, you know what? We are so proud of you. You're going to college. You got out of this town. Congratulations. Mr. T.A. looks at me. I never will forget that look. And he says to me, you're not going to no college. Your family's too stupid. And you're too dumb. Now, you're 14 or 15 years of age, and you've been hearing this all your life from students making fun of you. You've been fighting every day in school, being bullied, called all kinds of names. And Mr. T.A., who you look up to, who owns the only store in town, says to you, you're not going to no college. Your family's too stupid, and you're too dumb. You get kind of sad, and I was sad for a long time. And I remember walking down the street one day going home, and I stopped in my tracks, and I got mad. And I said to myself, I'm going to fix you, Mr. T.A. I'm going to college, and I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to bring it back to you, and I'm going to show you that I'm somebody. Went off to college, boy, that was a great day. Man, went off to college, and I remember distinctly coming back 11 o'clock at night. We'd be away all week long playing all over the country. Come back late at night. We'd have our bags on the back with our clothes in there. We throw them down. Everybody would go to bed. They're tired from playing all week long and being on the road. Everybody would go to bed except me. I'd stay up all night long studying for that test. I didn't care about basketball. Only thing I cared about is I had to get that degree and bring it back and show Mr. T.A., Mr. T.A., I'm somebody. Well, finally graduated. Wow, that was a great day. I don't know if I learned anything, but I got that degree. And then after I got that degree, I said, you know what, I'm not finished with you yet, Mr. T.A. I'm still mad at you. I'm going to go get my master's degree. I'm going to fix you now. Went and got my master's degree, served in the U.S. Army a number of years, worked in the prison system, played ball in Europe, not in that particular order, and transferred from Colorado prison system to Chicago. Met a woman in Chicago. Name is Oprah. Unbelievable person. I'm in a relationship with a very powerful woman. Every time I step out the door, people define me as Oprah's man. I'm sure some of y'all said it, don't say y'all didn't say it. Who's up here speaking? Oprah's man speaking. I'm sure some of y'all said it. And I'm in a relationship with a very powerful woman, and you lose your identity. You understand why I teach this, right? You understand why I'm an expert, right? And wow, when you lose your identity, man, you learn about three things. One is, it's not how the world defines you. The only thing that matters is how you define yourself. The second thing I learned is if you turn your power over to somebody else to define you, they will always define you as less than them. The third thing I learned, if you're looking for freedom in the greatest country in the world, which is America, you'll never find it on the outside. Freedom is only on the inside. So we're going to talk about how to find out who you are. Wow. I love this poem by D.H. Lawrence. It says, all people dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind, they wake in the morning to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous people, for they dream their dreams with open eyes, and they make them come true. So in the global market today, 21st century, can you dream a dream for your business and make it come true? Order is the highest level of development. Man, to be able to organize the whole world, you couldn't have a better opportunity than to live today because we have access to technology. So to be able to organize all the resources and all the opportunities and make it relevant to your development, while allows you to do what? Allows you to empower yourself. Because in the end, it's all about the power versus the powerless. Either you're a follower or you're a leader. And it took me a long time to realize that, man, leadership is everything. When you get to be able to organize your life around yourself, when you get to take information and make it relevant to your development, when you get to develop a process of continuous improvement, and what I learned also, that the process of success is the same for everybody. And also understanding that the greatest opportunity you'll have in your life, ladies and gentlemen, is to be able to understand who you are. When you don't know who you are, that's a tough one. You kind of don't have any freedom. I mean, you're kind of as close to freedom as you can possibly get because you're capitalist. And I don't know how you do it unless you're a capitalist in America, a capitalistic country. So when you understand how the world works in terms of business and how to make your own money and becoming an independent contractor, and you're able to kind of organize the whole world around your development, and you get to lead that, that's pretty strong. When you don't know who you are, you have limited communication skills. Difficult to organize your life, pretty much unorganized. You basically, when you don't know who you are, you don't really have a voice. You lose your confidence. You can't build your confidence for the most part. And you have limited growth. So when we talk about Maslow's highest level of development, we understand psychological needs. We understand safety needs, business and belonging and love needs, and self-esteem needs. But the highest level is self-actualization, which most of us never get a chance to do because we're so busy working. And we never get a chance to really work on ourselves. So you have, when you talk about identity mindset, you have either a fixed mindset. I talked about that, where most people are doing the same thing over and over every single day. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing nothing. You're just robotic, going through the motions, not thinking, not developing, not building, not creating. So fixed mindset, you have no plan or no purpose. You're limited in your ability to motivate yourself. Definitely limited in your learning. You know, we never really learned how to learn, which is really what helped me, the ability to be able to take information and apply it to my life every single day so I can develop a process for continuous improvement. And pretty much predictable. We know the beginning, and we also know the end. So when you understand who you are, and when you talk about growth, growth is, man, you know where you're going. Wow, you have some clarity. You're a thinker. You're thinking all the time. You're engaged in the world that you live in. You're a self-directed learner, a lifelong learner. You're a reader. You're setting and achieving goals. And you're constantly improving. And in business today, you have to what? You have to constantly improve all the time because things are changing constantly. 21st century is changing all the time. This technological revolution has caused us what? To reproduce knowledge over and over. Content is king. Well, what we have here is we have identity as the core of who you are, and most of us live on the outside. So we give everything away for the most part, and we never really build anything for ourselves. And we're defined by the outside world. You're defined by money, defined by our house and our car, and our title, and our job, and our religion, our gender, our race, our class. And we really don't have the power to define ourselves for the most part. So we just work and work and work, and we give everything away. And real freedom and real power is when you're able to reverse this process, where everything becomes relevant to your development. So that you can begin to organize all the resources and the opportunity. You couldn't have a better opportunity to do that than today because we have access to information. We have so much information. So the ability to compartmentalize that information allows us to empower ourselves in 24 hours that we have every single day, which is what makes us all equal. Everybody has 24 hours. The question is, what do we do with our time? The value that you give yourself, this is what I learned, the value that you give yourself is the value the world gives you. The world sees you as you see yourself. You mean I get a chance to change my perception of myself? I get a chance to brand myself. I get a chance to organize my own empowerment. I get a chance to take information education and make it relevant to my development in the 24 hours that I have every single day, and then I get to build that. I get to compound that 24 hours into 7 days, which is a week. I get to compound it into 4 weeks, which is a month. I get to now compound that into 12 months, which is a year. And if your kids get a chance, if you can teach this to your children and your family, and they're 10, they've got, or 12. They got 12, 22, 32, 42, 52, 62, 72, 82, 92. They've got 80 years to develop a process of continuous improvement where they're better today than they were yesterday. So the power of the mind, when we talk about the power of the mind, you cannot change your circumstances until you first change yourself, which is why this conference is so important. Because it allows you to meet people. It allows you to have an emotional experience. It allows you not to just hear something, but you can actually feel it so you can remember it. So you have the conscious, which is where we are right now, and then you have the subconscious, which is what runs us. So our ability to be able to change our habits, change the way we do things, change our paradigm is important because our subconscious really is what runs us. So we have to learn things over and over and over and over again. Our thoughts drive our actions. Each of us control our lives by controlling the way you think. So when I meet somebody in business, I'm always looking at how do you think? What's your thinking look like? How do you, what's your communication program look like? And how do you feel about yourself? And so we want to be able to replace negative messages with positive reinforcements. Again, everyone is equal because everybody has what, ladies and gentlemen? 24 hours. What's the question? What do you do with your time? Wow. To be able to take the global marketplace and now this technology and this iPhone, which is the greatest tool I've ever seen in my life, and organize all the information, ask it questions, get the information and apply it to who you are as a person in the 24 hours that you have every single day. So you eliminate all the labels. There are no labels and no excuses. It's just performance all the time. So we're going to go through a 9-step success process that I created in my book, Identity Leadership. And again, we're going to teach you how to find out who you are. Okay? Second part of this is we're going to teach you to learn how to learn. Wow, to be able to be a reader and a developer and organize information that's relevant to every part of your life. So you can begin to organize your life at the highest possible level. There are no labels. Organize, eliminate all the labels. And we want to be able to do what? Make you as productive as you possibly can based on your business, based on family, based on all the things that are relevant to your development. Be able to improve your performance. So how productive can you be every single day to be able to, again, learn how to take information and apply it to your own happiness? First step, check your ID. You have to have an identity. You have to know who you are. That is the foundation of your development. You've got to have a core base that you can build from. Second step, create your vision. What is your life's destination? Third step, you have to have a plan. What's your travel plan? Fourth step, master the rules of the road, your guiding principles. What are they? Step into the outer limits, overcoming your fears. What are your barriers to success? Step 6, pilot the seasons of change. Not so much what happens to you, but how you respond to it. Step 7, build your dream team. How do you build strong relationships? How do you build strong teams? Step 8, win by decision. It's all about the information, making the information relevant to your development, commit to your vision. It's about making a commitment to developing a lifestyle based on what you would like to achieve in your life. So, first step, know who you are. If you don't know who you are, it's over. You're just kind of going through the motions every single day, basically working. So difficult to understand the world and how you respond to it. Again, you're not engaged in the world that you live in every single day. You're just kind of going through the motions and watching everything on the outside. There's no really internal development. Difficult to understand the world and how you respond to it until you first know yourself. What are your strengths? People talk about strengths. What are your passions? What are your skills? Good to know your weaknesses. What are your patterns of behavior? And the biggest key here is this one word. You got to know this word. Your business and your life is not going to be able to reach your potential unless you have this word. Most powerful word in the world. Most powerful word in the world is love. That's the key. Love is the most powerful word in the world. There's only two decisions you make every single day. It's either negative or positive, good or bad, will or won't, looking at the glass half empty or half full. Law of attraction says whatever you put out, you get back. If you put out love, what happens? You get love back. You put out negativity, you get negativity back. Now that may be pretty simple, but it's powerful. Can you actually do that based on the trauma and the pain points and all the things you've gone on in your life? Our parents did the best they could based on what they knew. They'd have known better, they'd have done better. What did you learn in that household for what? For 18, 19 years. So the key is to be able to what? Transform your life based on focusing on love so that you get love back and everything around that. You make it practical in terms of love, skills, talents, passion, strengths. This is your foundation for development. You've got to have this, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't remember anything I've said, remember the power of organizing love in your life will take you anywhere you want to go. So we're going to go through a program called Success Circles. And Success Circles is kind of an organizational tool to define, focus, and advance your life, career goals, and what you love. Now that's a beautiful thing, to be able to take a piece of paper and write down everything you love in your life. And then to self-actualize that, and then to organize all the information around what you love every day. And to be able to segment that into different segments of your life. Most people, companies, and organizations who succeed in achieving their goals do it by you want to create the environment for opportunity. I mean, you have a whole world. So your ability to create the environment for opportunity, what does that look like? That looks like anything that you want. You want to be able to focus your energies and actions. You want to build a culture. You know, you don't want to deal with all the external cultural things that's happening to you. All the things that are being created for you, where people are utilizing you as a way to build their own culture. We want you to be able to do what? Own your own individualized culture, your own family culture, your personal culture. We want to be able to have you create capacity in the marketplace. How big can you go? What's your structure like? You know, we have access to a whole world today. So, you know, we want to be able to structure a foundational base that allows us to utilize the whole world as a resource for our development. You want to be able to leverage, which is, I know, a word that Grant uses all the time, leverage and position your brand value. The value that you give yourself is the value the world gives you. The world sees you as you see yourself. So how are you going to leverage your brand value in the world that we're in every single day? You want to be able to organize. Organization is the highest level of development. So how do we begin to organize every part of our life? So the simplest way is to take a piece of paper, write down everything you love in your life. And then be able to, not macro, we're going to talk about macro in a minute, but to micro manage a process for success based on organizing details around everything that you love. So in that 24 hours and that year, you have all these things that you have to get done based on that. So if you take just basic success circles, health and wellness, we all need that. Family, spirituality, hobbies, all those things that are basically just basic financial programs, which pertains to your business. Those things that are relevant to micromanaging things that will empower you. And you begin to organize those things, right? Based on what you're going to achieve, what you're going to create, what you're going to work on, and you lay that out into a program. And you take family, and you coordinate family outings, and you have education and planning, and you serve as a mentor, you create your family tree, and you plan a family reunion. So if you don't write it down, what's going to happen? You're going to forget it, because we have 50,000 thoughts going through our mind every single day. So you can't really remember everything. So ability to be able to write those things down and organize them. In business, the same process, be able to focus on the financial side of that, the marketing side of that, the accounting side of that, the social media side of that, all those things that are relevant to empowering your own business. Okay, I'm motivated every single day. I can't wait to get up. I'm so excited about my life. I got 24 hours. I can eliminate all the labels. I know how to take information, education, make it relevant to my heart, to my soul, transfer it to my mind. I'm a thinking human being. I'm a reader. I'm engaged in the world that I live in every single day. I'm alive. Wow, you can't stop me, because it's in my heart and in my soul. And I'm focusing on love as a way to empower myself every single day. And I can control my energy based on what? If I'm focusing on negative thoughts, I can change it just like that into a positive thoughts. So step 2 is, once you understand who you are, what you love, you have to create a vision, which is your life's destination. So vision is the ability to see something in the future, something you can imagine. I could care less about where you are or where you were. I'm only concerned about where you're going. So vision is the act of power of anticipating that which may come to be. So vision is not behind you. Vision is always forward. So if you don't have a vision for your business, wow, it's going to affect your social economic development. It's going to affect your money. So you got to have a vision about, in terms of where you're going. You have to be clear. You have to have clarity around that vision. Good book says, where there is no vision, the people perish. If you're a leader and driver of your business and you don't have a vision, it's pretty hard for other people involved in your business to be able to follow you. Your vision is your life's destination. It's where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Vision gives you the destination to your purpose. It's the internal energy force that is intense. So vision drives you. You drive and drive and drive based on the vision. It's the strength of this force that clarifies what you want to be able to do. Words related to vision would be perception. What's your perception of where you're going, your view? How big is your vision? So how big is education worldwide? How big should my vision be worldwide? How big should my opportunities be worldwide? Vision is your dream, it's your picture, it's believing and also seeing. First step, man, I know who I am. I'm focused on love. I'm organizing everything that I'm passionate about in my life. I'm micromanaging that. Second step, I have a vision beyond my circumstances. Poverty is what? Poverty is having no vision of who you can be. It's not who you are, it's who you can become. Third step, you got to have a plan. Got to be able to write it down. So your plan is, you kind of know who you are, you know where you're going, and you know how you're going to get there. What's that look like? So planning helps you what? It helps you save time. It keeps you focused. It builds confidence. So like I said before, we have 50,000 thoughts going through our mind every single day. Hard to remember anything. You got to be able to write it down. You got to be able to organize it. Step 4, master the rules of the road. Your guiding principles. What are they? That's your value system, tied hopefully to your vision. So these are rules of the road that are guidelines that keep you on track, they make you sustainable over a long period of time. So the honesty, how big is that in your business? Trust, hard work, got to be a hard worker. Hard to work hard if you hate what you do. Determination, positive attitude, perseverance, dedication. All these rules of the road that are guidelines to keep you on track and sustain yourself over a long period of time. Attitude is altitude. In business, how big is your attitude? How important is your attitude? To have a good attitude? Very, very important. So the ability to be able to understand that attitude is altitude. And the negative attitude, only a couple of people can fit into that space. When you have a positive attitude, you're able to do what? You're able to pretty much open up the whole world. Energy, this is really important to be able to change your energy and have the energy of the law of attraction so that your energy, you can transform that energy, if it's negative energy, you can transfer that to a positive energy state. Step into the outer limits, overcoming your fears. Man, I'm motivated every single day. I can't wait to get up, or I'm focused on what I love. I'm focusing on developing my talents, my skills, my abilities. Second step, create your vision. I have a vision bigger than my circumstances. I can see beyond where I am. Third step, I can write it down, organize it, I can plan it. Fourth step, master the rules of the road, my guiding principles, my value system. Fifth step, step into the outer limits, overcoming your fears. What are the barriers to your success? What holds you back? What keeps you from maximizing your potential as a human being? What have you been told, in that household for 18 years about what you can't do? And so how do you overcome the fears? Fears is a small step process. How do you get to the top of the mountain? It's a small step every single day. There are no big deals, ladies and gentlemen. It's only a series of small steps that lead to what? Big deals. So when we talk about stepping to the outer limits, we're talking about fear. So risk is a natural part of life. Staying the same as standing still. So find your comfort zone and then get out of it. To be successful, you must learn to overcome that natural fear and step outside of what has been comfortable and familiar, which we do all the time, especially when you're in business. Step 6, pilot the seasons of change is not so much what happens to you, but how you respond to it. A lot of changes we're going through today, climate changes, economic changes, pandemic, we all went through that, still going through that. What is your ability to deal with the changes? It's not so much what happens to you, but how you respond to it. Law of the jungle says only the strong survive. Do you have the internal capacity to deal with change? And when you're in business, business is tough. You got to be really, really special to run a business because you're dealing with all of these changes and all of the things that happen to you all the time. So you really have to have the strength to be able to overcome those changes. Dealing with changing circumstances is important, but creating and managing your response to change in your life is probably a greater part of the success process. This is important right here. Challenges happen when the pace of change exceeds our ability to change, which is what's happening right now. Events are moving faster than our understanding. So you got to be flexible today. Got to be able to deal with the changing circumstances and kind of go with the flow. Step 7, build your dream team. Got to have a team. No one makes alone. No man or woman is an island unto themselves. You have to have a team. And your team is always predicated on how strong or weak you are as a person. A weak leader attracts a weak team. Strong leader attracts a strong team. Law of the jungle, only the strong survive. So your team, again, you can't make it by yourself. No one makes alone. No man or woman is an island unto themselves. You can't make it by yourself. You need a team of people who care about you. And the key to business, ladies and gentlemen, is tied to this one word right here, which is trust. It's critical to building strong teams. Step 8, one of my favorite steps, man, we talked about understanding who you are, talked about vision, talked about planning, talked about master the rules of the road, your guiding principles. We talked about building your dream team. Step 8, win by decision. So my life really, really changed when I understood how to take information and apply it to everything that I love in my life. When I learned how to learn, as opposed to just memorizing and taking tests in school, and I learned how to organize a library of information and realize that knowledge really is power, and to be able to take the iPhone and organize all of that information and segment my life in every area that made me happy. And I can apply that information every single day so I can develop a process of continuous improvement. No matter what happened, I became a self-directed learner and a lifelong learner. And I can make good decisions based on that. So good decisions have desirable consequences. Bad decisions, again, have undesirable consequences. Last step, commit to your vision. Wow. We talked about understanding, your talents and your skills, your abilities, your vision. Talked about planning, organizing, all of that. Commit to your vision. Can you create a lifestyle on a consistent basis? So a commitment is something that you live. Can you organize your life where you can make everything relevant to your development? And you renew that every single day? Can you predict your own future? The best way to predict your own future is to create it. Can you create your own future? And so when you begin to, start to think for yourself, you become independent in your development, you start to own yourself, you start to be able to transform yourself. You're not focused just on transactional things, but you really get a chance to transform yourself. The world's going to kind of get mad at you. When you start to understand how to take information, education, make it relevant to your development, transfer it to the world that you live in, transfer it to the American free enterprise system, and you're also a capitalist, that's about as close to freedom as you're going to get, they're going to start hating you. They're going to get mad sometime. And, this book is called The Race by D. Groberg, and it's based on the principle is you're not a failure when you fall down. You're only a failure when what? When you don't get back up. And if you're a business person, you keep falling down a lot. But the only way you can win is you got to get back up. So this book called The Race by D. Groberg, this guy's having a tough day. He's a businessman, and the world's telling him, why don't you quit? Why don't you give up? You're beaten, they shout at me and plead. There's just so much against you now. This time you can't succeed. And this guy's having a tough day. He starts to hang his head in front of failure's face, and his downward fall is broken by, he remembers this race. And hope refills his weakened will as he recalls that scene. For just a sort of that short race, it kind of rejuvenates his being. It's a children's race, young boys, young men, how he remembered well. Excitement, sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope. Each thought to win that race or tie for first, if not that, at least take second place. And fathers watched from off the side, each cheering for his son. And each boy hoped to show his dad that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they went, young hearts and hopes of fire. To win and be the hero there was each young boy's desire. And one boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running near the lead. He says, my dad is going to be so proud. But as they sped down the field across the shallow dip, the little boy who thought to win, he kind of lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his hands flew out the brace, but amid the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. So down he fell, and with him hope he couldn't win it now. Embarrassed, sad, he only wished to kind of disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and he showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and win the race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind the bit that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself to catch up in the wind, his mind went faster than his legs. Guess what, y'all? He slipped and fell again. He wished that he had quit before with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as I'm running out. I shouldn't try to race. But in the laughing crowd he searched and he found his father's face. That steady look which said again, get out and win the race. So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to move real fast. Exerted everything he had, he regained 8 or 10, but trying so hard to catch the lead, guess what, y'all? He slipped and fell again. Defeat, he lay there silently, a tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense running anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out. Why try? The will to rise had disappeared. All hope had fled away, so far behind, so error-prone. A loser all the way. I've lost, so what do you do? He thought, I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad he'll soon have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win the race. With borrowed will, get up and said, you haven't lost it all, for winning is no more than this, to rise each time you fall. So up he rose to run once more with a new commit. He resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he's ever been, still he gave it all he had and ran as though to win. 3 times he's fallen, stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind the hope to win, but he still ran to the end. They cheered the winning runner as he crossed the line first place, head high and proud, no falling, no disgrace. But when the falling youngster crossed the line last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low and proud, you would have thought he won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad, he sadly says, Dad, I didn't do too well. To me, you won. His father said, you rose each time you fell. So now when things seem dark and hard and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy, it helps me in my race. For all of life, it's like that race with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. Y'all keep rising. Thank you so much.